Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
Yeah. Greetings and salutations, IRL Nation. What is going on? I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. If you're not, let me just go ahead and say right now, I see you in your struggle. I see what you're going through. I'm in your corner. And just know you got somebody watching your back, okay? Today, I want to go ahead and give you guys a little sneak peek as something that's coming in later times. Hopefully it's going to come sooner than later, though. It is my book release, all of the good stuff. This is something that I hinted at for you guys a couple of episodes back. But today we're going to do sort of an unboxing. I'm going to give you guys a full rundown as to what to expect in this book. I'm going to give you my perspectives, my background, what led to it, all that good stuff as to why I made this book, and hopefully you guys get a little more insight into what's going on for it. All right, let's get started. So first things first, the title of the book is Uncommon Sense, Exploring a Better Humanity. Now, the reason why I chose this title is because common sense isn't common, and therefore uncommon sense is even more uncommon. And I really want you guys to pay attention to the senses. Because I believe that humanity has more than just five. I think there are many more antennas in our brain, many more feelers out there that we have. And it's important to really understand that we are more than just these five senses, right? This is just a vessel for a consciousness, and we are trying to figure out how to use all of our abilities to the best of our abilities so that we can live our most enjoyable life. And that's what I really want this book to be about, because it is about exploring a better humanity. So getting into the first couple of pages here, the preface, it is something really brief. I go over the definition of cognition, which is the mental action or process of acquiring knowledge and understanding through thought, experience, and the senses. So all that input, all of it coming into us, all of the data that we receive as human beings that comes into our brain, we have to process it some way. We have to make it all make sense. And then we get to play around with reality in our minds, right? We kind of have to go through those, shall we say, filters of life and come out the other end, hopefully better. The next part of it, it's just my message to everybody, and I'll go ahead and read it. It's all about life and the way we want to live it. Reality is subjective, and we have the privilege to create and enjoy it. This guidebook is meant to open the mind and stretch the perspective by tapping into those sensations you already have. Humanity is ready for more, and it's time for us to take our place to explore a better way of living. And that's really what this whole message for this book is about, because honestly, humanity it's time for us to evolve. It's time for us to take that next step. You think about history, right? And you can take any sort of facet, industry, music, art, science, math, all these different fields are always evolving, always getting new understanding and new rules that play a part into our society. So it's important to not go away from that, to not, deviate from what we naturally want to do. We as human beings are, I believe, adventurers. I think we're explorers. I think we have some special gifts that allow us to tap into more of our surroundings than we really think. And that's really what this book is about. The process of tapping into those veins, tapping into those frequencies, tapping into all of that. And then we go into the table of contents. I'm not going to go over the table of contents. You guys, when you get the book, you'll be able to see it. But I intentionally left the chapters unnumbered because I don't want this to be a regular book. Yes, the chapters are in an order that I've put them in, but you don't have to read them in order. This is a workbook. This is a guidebook. This is something that I want you to dissect and draw in and make your own notes and participate with, because the thing that this workbook will do is hopefully broaden your mind and maybe give you a glimpse into those abilities or way of life that you may want, and it might be right in front of you, but you don't even have it yet. So hopefully that's what this book can do for you. First chapter, though, is kind of important. It is entitled "Your Tribe Starts With You." Now, this is the foundation of what it is that I was trying to get across. Because like I'm doing now with my podcast, like I'm doing with this book, it really does begin with your perspective, with your outlook in life. And if you can't get your sensations on point, then there really is no way for you to reach out into this reality, reach out into the universe and gain more understanding. So it starts with you. And as we go through it, it opens up the possibilities for thought. It opens up the possibilities that you may not know what you think you know. You may know more than you think you know. And putting names to faces, labels to ideas gives you the ability to now steer your ship a little more effectively. A little excerpt of it, I'll go ahead and read, is the sandbox we all play in and look to live life the way we believe it should be lived. It's really a scapegoat idea, though. Human beings are hardwired to look for and fit into specific tribes or like-minded people. This is where it gets really complicated and why I believe mankind is struggling for a new way of living. People have adopted the easy way of life and have others telling them who they are. There's an industry that is built and thrives off the very principle of telling people how to live and what to believe in, who to trust and who to make enemies of, what's desirable and what's to shame. Humanity has fallen victim to its own nature, and it's time for those who can see through the fog of life step in. It's time for them to step in. That's where you come in. And yes, it is about seeing through the fog. It is about seeing through the problems that may not be as big as you think they are. It's okay to take that step back and take that breath and just let these things kind of progress chronologically in your life, because it's happening. It's real. Life is always in motion. It's never going to stop until you're dead. And even then, I don't think it stops. So take advantage of the opportunities while we have it right now. A little more about this chapter. It was eye-opening for me because I didn't think this way. I had to figure this out the hard way. I didn't know that I was being led by the leash. I didn't know that the ideas I was having or the thoughts I was having were being given to me instead of me coming up with them. I was a good little soldier of God back when I was growing up. And when you're in a cult that is religiously based, you really don't get an opportunity to be mindful of your own thoughts. You don't get the opportunity to dissect what you want to dissect, ask questions about different things. It's really shunned upon. And I had to break away from all of that. I had to literally take a leap of faith into the darkness, into the abyss of the world to figure out what I didn't know, to see the ideas that I had were my own versus the ideas that were given to me. And then let me just read another another paragraph here. It's the best way to describe this cheat code is getting comfortable with discomfort, a paradox that deserves its own book, which I will. There are many books on this and are worth finding if you want to explore more abilities you can create for yourself. But that's the key. Our brains have all these warning systems that basically let us know where the comfort zone borders are. Make no mistake, this is where the tangible effects start to surface with our journey to be a better human, or to have a better humanity. Especially for those who have had to live life on survival mode. Because of this, it's really important to start forming your tribe. Help is out there, and you have found some here. The network you create is vital to your future and will help you in times of distress when you explore the past, the comfort zone borders. Here's your choice. Here's the choice you have to make for yourself. Are you looking to stay in the life you have now, or do you want things to change? If you have the life you want, congrats, you did it. But if you want something, anything to change in your current way of life, you have to go beyond the comfort zone. Before you go blazing on the trail, though, you should really build a headquarters you can launch these missions from. And that is really a big part of it, guys, about this chapter. It's about recognizing the hurdles in your life and maybe looking at them as, oh, well, I don't have to do that if I don't want to do that. I don't want my life to be this way. I don't want to live life this way. I don't want these problems in my life. The only way for things to change is for you to change them. Unfortunately, that's how this thing goes. It sucks. I know. But it is what it is. Okay? And that's why the first chapter is all about your individual self and making the mindset or creating a tribe around what you believe in, what your faith is, what your ideals are. And that way you can try and start to build a tribe around you. The next chapter, Living in the Matrix While Blade Running. I've gone through this one a little bit before, but this one, as a second chapter, really hit home for me. I had to do a lot of digging for this one. And forgive me, but the Matrix really is an applicable parable here for just our way of life in reality, especially now technology is kind of getting off the rails here. But the beginning opener starts with some quotes from the movie that I think apply dramatically to the way we live life now. Let me read it to you. Let me tell you why you're here. You've come because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your whole life. Felt that something is wrong with the world. You don't know what, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that brought you here. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Matrix, or AKA reality. It's everywhere. You can see it out your window or on your TV. You feel it when you go to work or go to church or pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. You are a slave. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, kept inside a prison that you can't smell, taste, or touch. A prison for your mind. And that's how this chapter opens. Because honestly, it is the most factual thing that I've ever heard about humankind anywhere. A book, this thing applies like it's aged well. You know what I'm saying? The Matrix really deserves its own little deep dive into, oh, is this really a simulation out here or what are we doing? And because the book goes on from this point with this idea of we are living in a matrix, maybe not necessarily a real plug your brain into the matrix. I don't know, but these social media, Google, these cell phones kind of do that. But that is why we have to think about it as a prison for your mind. We are slaves to this system. And unfortunately, they have done a very good job at enslaving the mind, keeping us distracted, keeping us locked into survival mode. And the more this chapter goes on, I break things down more and more, trying to go from relating the book or relating our reality to the Matrix. And I do pull a lot of quotes. I do pull a lot of parables, only because it's one of those things that really, it applies. So check out this next one. The Matrix, or as the reality, as I call it. The reality is a system, and that system is our enemy. But when you're inside and you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, lawyers, teachers, carpenters. The minds of the very people we are trying to save. The minds of the people I'm trying to save. But until we do, these people are still part of that system. And that makes them our enemies. You have to understand that most of these people are not ready to unplug, and many of them are so locked in, so insured, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it. We survived by hiding, running, but they are the gatekeepers. They are guarding all the doors, holding all the keys, which means that sooner or later, someone is going to have to fight them. That someone is us. That someone is this community. That someone is the IRL nation. Breaking minds free of all the crap and BS that plagues us over and over again, that keeps us locked into this crap that we call reality. See? Makes sense, right? You'll never watch Matrix the same again. I know I did it. I know after writing this book and writing this chapter specifically, it was one of those really eye-opening, like, oh my God, I can't believe this is so close to real. Oh no. But that being said, we have the power. We have the power to break free for ourselves and for our community, for our tribe. Going through the rest of this chapter, there's a bunch of different nuggets on how to unlock these potentials, how to break free, really pulling at those strings of what reality is, what you can do about it, and moving forward. The next part is my first challenge. And I do mean challenge because it is something that I want people to kind of exercise with. Like, again, this is a workbook. It's not necessarily a regular read-through book. It's a workbook. So the next thing is you got to design your atmosphere. This is a challenge. The challenge reads, this challenge is designed to help create a headquarters of sorts for yourself, a place you can go to escape the noise of the world and just recover. It's also designed to start finding those boundaries that are currently holding you in. Do you accept the challenge? I want to make sure that everybody understands when I say challenge, I do mean put yourself out there. Give yourself the most honest answers you can. That way you can really put your best foot forward for anything in life. That's why I challenge you to do this. There are 4 steps, 4 zones. Zone 1 is your safe space. Zone 2 is a network of trust. Zone 3 is a disagreement area. And zone 4 is the discomfort zone, which is basically everything outside of those first 3. When you guys get the book, there is an activity, there are steps, there are drawings, there are things you have to do for that. And I hope you guys enjoy that first challenge. The next thing after that is called dimensional living. Dimensional living is where things get a little more metaphysical, but it's a little more physical than meta, if that makes any sort of sense. Because, let me just read you this first paragraph. Earth, the third planet from the sun in our solar system. It's currently the only planet we know of in the cosmos that supports an estimated 8.7 million species of life. It self spins at 1,000 miles an hour to create our 24 hours a day. And it moves at 67,000 miles per hour to give a full cycle around the sun, aka a year. There are 4 seasons that transition every year: winter, spring, summer, fall. And in those cycles, many other types of life manage to function, from sporting seasons, farming, education. We are all moving together. All this order and chaos moving in harmony makes it hard to see the strings that connect us all to each other. It's even harder to see the connections between those things we can sense. So how can we make sense of all this stimuli and tap into higher cognition? Let's do some dimensional hopping to find out. Yes, dimensional hopping. Okay, this chapter is a mind bender. It's meant to shatter the realities of what you really think of. Do you think of your five senses as dimensions? I bet if I took one of them away from you, you'd think it was. Like, let's take away your ability to taste. I had that opportunity during COVID. I lost my taste. That was different. Food wasn't enjoyable. I just put things in my mouth for calories. Taste matters. Taste is a dimension that we explore and kind of take for granted. That's why there's critics. That's why we have different restaurants. That's why we have a starring system, because taste is one of the things that matters, just like hearing, just like sight, just like touch. These things are all dimensions that we bounce around in and try to make sense of all the different things around us. For this, let me give you an example. That comes from the book. What color is the sky? Well, everyone's going to say, oh, it's blue. No, it's purple. Well, what if I told you there is no sky? You'd probably call me crazy, right? Yes, there is. Well, I see it. It's out there. It's right there. It's blue. No, what you're seeing is a chemical reaction from the solar radiation that's hitting our atmosphere that causes it to be an illusion of blue. Technically, there is no sky, which is why you can't see the sky during night, which is why we can peer out to the universe and see just how infinitesimally small we are to the cosmos and see the magnanimousness of the stars around us, right? Isn't that wild? There is no ceiling on Earth. It's just a chemical reaction that we all have come to know as the sky, and we call it blue because it's way easier for reality to exist when we just think of it as the sky, as opposed to a chemical reaction that's happening, right? That is dimensional living. When you understand how things work, when you can see the fabric that creates these things, you can really get to know just how fantastic we human beings are with our sensations. That's dimensional living. This chapter is so great, and I really hope that you guys find it as enjoyable as I did. Next up is another challenge, okay? This time, you're going to design your flag or your banner. This is one of the ones where I wanted you guys to feel like you're building your tribe, right? We're 4 chapters deep. We're 2 exercises in. And now it's time to start putting colors in and paper in and buying into your tribe, buying into your new way of life, right? So design your flag. I give you guys a whole section. You got colors, you got an accent color, you got a whole thing. Draw it in there. Make it make sense. Don't make it make sense. You can go on your computer and design it yourself. The whole premise of this challenge, let me read it to you, is designed to center your ideas and beliefs into a symbol that people will recognize. Think like a bat signal or Superman's S. You want people to know what you're all about, and this banner or symbol will let them know who's coming. It can be anything, but try to keep it very simple. No more than 3 to 5 words. If you want a phrase to go with it. It's meant for you, though, so don't think you have to share it. When you see it, it reminds you of who you are. That's this challenge. Hope you guys enjoy this one, because when I did it the first time, it was kind of eye-opening. I had to put some things down, and I was really struggling with just, what do I really believe? What do I really understand? What do I stand for? It really made me think about those big ideas, and I had to reshuffle some things. I had to reshuffle some priorities. it was a fantastic experience, and I hope you guys get the same thing. The next thing on top of that, because again, these chapters stack, right? I want these ideas and these things to stack. There is a momentum to it, but again, you don't have to go through these things one at a time. You can just pick things out as you go. But stacking the next thing on top of these, your wave frequency. Now, this is a little cool little science if you guys know anything about that. Human beings actually do put out a frequency as an individual. Every one of us does put out a frequency because we produce energy. It is a scientifically proven fact. It is measurable, which, again, comes to the point, what does that even mean? What does that even... Why can we play with this? What is the significance of that? Well, let me read you this first paragraph again. One of the most unique things about humans is their ability to feel and be affected by these frequencies. So some waves make you want to dance. Others make you want to feel at peace. And still others can alert you to danger or serious things that are happening in your immediate area. But did you know that each person has their very own frequency that they emit? Scientists have begun to identify and research these frequencies. Since each person is unique, much like a fingerprint, it's difficult to make scientific theory around it. All we really know is that we all have one. And if you know anything about frequency, you can postulate some pretty cool stuff, right? Music's got frequency. Colors have frequency. All things pretty much that exist in matter have a frequency or an energy signature when put it on. When they are, shall we say, existing in reality. There's probably things out there like dark matter that don't have frequency, that there's an entire universe that's completely different than what we can understand now. Because again, science only knows so much. We're carbon-based life forms on this planet. Life can exist in many different forms, right? Outside of carbon-based. It's wild to think that we think we know everything when we don't really know anything. So that's the frequency. That's the next one. It's a little more quasi, a little more meta, a little more breaking the ice, getting to know what's really out there for you guys. The next thing is another challenge. Okay? This one's going to be fun for people. I want you, when you get to this part, to really give yourself some time. Don't rush this one, because this challenge will open your eyes. I'm only going to tell you what the title is, and then we're going to move on. So this challenge is Thank You in the Mirror. The challenge is Thank You in the Mirror. And when you get the book, it will go all about it. I can't wait for you guys for that one. That one was probably the most informative and constructive exercise for myself, which I'm hoping for you guys, it does the same thing. Next up, Children of Chaos. Oh my goodness. The deep dive into this was both amazing and depressing at the very same time, because most of us, especially if you're listening to me now, we come from chaos. We got trauma, we got baggage, we got stuff we got to get through. And ultimately, in my opinion, children of chaos are the best kind of people, especially when they figure out how to heal themselves from all that trauma. They become the best kind of people. Let me read you this first paragraph. Trauma, a deeply distressing or disturbing experience, physical injury. How interesting that the definition of trauma includes both physical and mental properties. It's one of the most unique things humans can go through, and I think it's safe to say that most people have experienced trauma in some way or another today. I also believe humanity has fallen victim to a trauma death loop, a phase where trauma has broken humanity. Humanity doesn't address it, more people break, and so the loop continues. We're coming to a point in humanity's history, though, where broken people are no longer accepting the "it will work itself out" mindset and are addressing the generations of broken chaos. We all have highs and lows, which is a natural aspect to our way of life. Just like the seasons change, so do we. Unfortunately, children have inherited many generations of chaos from their parents and are tasked with fixing it, while coming up with solutions to keep peace a part of our lives. Nature is proven to create some wondrous things when extremes happen. However, balance must exist in all things for existence to work. So, the momentum must swing in the balanced direction at some point. The gauge of chaos also tells us just how positive the swing can get. That's why we've come into this point in time where we need to attack the status quo and form a new way of living. Peace is possible, but it will only come from children of chaos. That's that first paragraph. And I honestly believe those of us who have been put through the gauntlet, who have struggled, who know what it means to go into the darkness and come out, it will be us that change the world, because we are the ones who have survived the shit. Okay? It is what it is at this point. Everybody else won't know what to do. They won't understand what it takes, the effort it takes to grind, to suffer through the grind, to feel the weight of it all, and to go to the next day with the understanding that, you know what, I got through it, I'm going to keep doing it, and on top of that, I'm going to conquer whatever these things are so that I can have the life that I want to live. That's this chapter for you guys. And I really want you guys to experience that like I have. It is truly rewarding when you understand the abilities that come from struggle, that come from surviving the darkness. And I know you guys know, I know I'm preaching to the choir right now, but I want you guys to get it. Just know, you're not the only one who's suffered. You're not the only one who's struggling. You are here, and we are here, and we got each other's back. And it's time to form this nation for real. And it's going to be us, the children of chaos, who fix all these different problems, because we're the only ones who pay attention. Next chapter. Give an inch to take a mile. Yeah. Pretty self-explanatory. Give an inch to take a mile. When you are given an inch in life, don't mess around. Take a mile. You will not get another opportunity, because that's just not how life works. When opportunity strikes, you have to take the mile. Don't settle for an inch. Don't settle for a crumb. Don't settle for a scrap. Take. Why? Because life already takes from you. Life already demands certain things from you. Life already makes you work for it. Do not sell yourself short. You can do more. Taking it. Don't be nice about it. Don't be gentle, because life is not nice. Life is not gentle. It is the way of the jungle out here. Don't worry about crushing toes. If you step on my toes, I'm going to react and I'm going to say, okay, we're good. Let's keep it pushing. You can say sorry. That's fine. And keep moving. Do not worry about everybody else's problems, because they're not worrying about all of your problems. That is what it is. This chapter is pretty straightforward for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Next up, it's another challenge. Create your creed. It's the same kind of thing when it comes to the banner. You've made a symbol. Now it's time to put the words behind it. Your constitution, the things that you want people to read about, the things that you are believing in. There is a couple of different sections in this. There's both. Not just both. I'll just go over the sections. Part 1 is the physical, the tangible, the real things. Part 2 of the challenge is the theoretical, the abstracts, or the science behind your ideals. Part 3 is the superstitious, the supernatural, the spiritual, the ethereal, that kind of things. And lastly, part 4, it is putting it all together. So once you come to this challenge, guys, there is 4 different sections and 4 different ways to answer and go through these different parts. Don't get caught up in it though. If you have a quick answers, put down your quick answers. If you have in-depth answers, put those down too. But don't get hung up on these different things because you got to put it all together anyways. Okay? Next up, next chapter. It's entitled, "The Things That Survive Are the Things That Evolve." A little more in depth of what we talked about for Children of Chaos, because if you survived, it means you evolved. That's just how it is. If you were able to adapt to something in life, you are now better than you were before. It may be a good habit, it may be a bad habit, but you have it and you can survive whatever is happening. This is a pretty straightforward chapter as well, but it does show some encouraging thoughts. It does get a little in depth onto how you can survive and evolve. But I hope you guys enjoy this one. It's a little shorter than the others because it's kind of heavy. Next up is another challenge. Okay? Keep in mind, look at how many things we've stacked now. Look at how many things you guys have already done in this book. Look at how many things that you guys have accomplished. I know it's meaty, I know, but that's the whole point of a workbook. I want you guys to crack open these senses because I want you guys to have uncommon sense. When you have common sense, fantastic. But when you can have uncommon sense, it sets you apart from everybody else on this planet. And I know humanity is ready for that. I know humanity, and especially this nation right here, this IRL nation, is ready to take that step into uncommon sense and just be a society that's above and beyond what reality is. And we can show a better way for humanity's future. So next up is another challenge. You got to do something uncomfortable. Yep. You're going to do something uncomfortable. This one, take your time. This one's meaty. This one's juicy. This one's going to take a lot of effort, a lot of time. Do not worry about completing this one right away. It is not meant to be done right away. This is a ladder of sorts, a staircase of sorts. I want you guys to deep dive into this. It's color-coded. It's got severity. It's got layers. It's got depth. So when you come to this challenge, doing something uncomfortable, do not worry about getting this thing done fast. It's not meant to be done fast. It's meant to help you accomplish these goals that I think you're going to want. Next up, being defeated versus giving up. Yes, there is a difference. Okay? If you don't think there's a difference, this book ain't for you. This whole nation ain't for you. Because there's a big difference between being defeated versus giving up. Okay, let me read you this first paragraph. Here it is. The moment your mind, body, and soul are telling you that you just can't keep going anymore. You've put everything you could into the battle, and you just can't move anymore. Or have you reached a point you feel like you should stop? Things are hard, and it would just make sense to stop. These two situations may sound similar, but couldn't be further apart. One is defeat, and the other is quitting. What's the difference? One is a choice, and the other is a result. But how can you tell the difference between quitting and defeat in real time? This chapter breaks all that down for you guys. Being able to know when you're defeated, because there's nothing wrong with being defeated. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with giving up either. But in my way of life, and hopefully your guys' way of life, being defeated is a much better outcome than giving up. I would much rather die on my feet than live on my knees. I don't know if that's for you guys. I don't know if that's something you guys want, but that is just how my being, my person exists in the world. There's no way for me not to give everything I've got and then to just die on that hill, fall on my sword in battle, in the things that I'm fighting for, as opposed to surrendering or quitting the thing that's just a little too hard, right? That's this chapter. Identifying the differences, playing in your life. You have the ability to be defeated in everything. Being defeated sucks. Don't get it twisted. It sucks, just like quitting. But it's okay. Sometimes we get defeated, and then we get back up and try it again. Next up, another challenge. Yes, I'm so glad you guys are catching on that it's a workbook, and it's meant to be intuitive, and it's meant to give you guys a little bit of struggle, a little bit of strife in your life. It's meant to give you guys the safety net of doing it in a workbook as opposed to doing it in real life. Because sometimes when you go out there and you try new things, it hurts when people say you're doing it wrong. It hurts when you can't find a way through. That's okay. That's why I've made this workbook. So you can put some things down on paper and get a game plan first. So the next challenge is the disagreement list. This was going to be interesting for people, I bet, because this challenge is designed to bring light to your way of thinking. People change their minds all the time, and maybe it's time to change yours. This challenge is also about getting your core thoughts and opinion down to really examine them and maybe update a few concepts. So there's some fun things going on in this challenge, guys, and I hope you enjoy it. Next, there's a couple of chapters that are about building your life, building some habits, building some things. We got a chapter called Leadership or Management. Living your life in a way of leadership or living your life in a way of management. What's the difference? Describing the way life is. A lot of people will get this one really quick because there is a difference between leadership and management, and we all kind of know what that is. The next chapter is reaching escape velocity. What does that even mean? Well, as a rocket, you know how hard it is to get off this planet? You know how much energy it takes to get off Earth? You know how much effort that it takes for an engine? How much fuel? How much aerodynamics come into play? It is hard to reach escape velocity because gravity is gravity is not nice. We all feel it every day, every minute, every second, all the time. Sometimes we wish gravity didn't exist, but it does. So you got to find a way to reach escape velocity. And what I'm talking about here is really about reaching escape velocity in your life. Finding a way to gather the energy, to gather all of the things you can to get you over that hump and just really finally get into a way of living that you want to live. Reaching that escape velocity is not easy. And this chapter breaks down a couple of ways and methods that I've gone through and found success in to reaching escape velocity. Next up is another challenge. Oh my goodness, I love challenges so much. The final boss battle. If you're a gamer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's final boss battle time. Okay? Let me read you what the challenge is about. It's meant for you to use all the skills and knowledge you've gained from these previous challenges. It's game time. Time to put all the work you put in, time to put it to the test. You are going to use everything you've gained in a social setting and see if the world you live in is different. Don't worry, it will be fun. All of this has been designed for you guys. It is meant to be a leveling up XP type of workbook. It's fantastic, and I can't wait for you guys to go through this challenge because this final boss battle really does put to the test of what you came up with. And if you find some things when you go through this book that change your mind, don't be afraid to write it down. Don't be afraid to go back and change it. It's your workbook. It's once you crack these doors open, once you bust these windows through, once you explode through the door, once you tap into the things that the skills and the sensations that humanities have, once you start tapping into these uncommon sense things, it will reshape a lot of what you're thinking, a lot of what you're feeling, a lot of how life really looks like. So don't worry. Go back and change it. It's fine. Can't wait for you guys to do this final boss battle. After that, we have what I believe to be the best way to formulate your life, the best way to structure it, the best way to find that balance in life. It's called A Pyramid to a Happy and Balanced Life. Now, this one is a little more about my beliefs, a little more about what I've come up with a system to kind of structure your life around. The pyramid or the triangle has been one of the strongest structures to withstand time. So I that's why I base it off of that. It's got 3 points. You have your physical, you have your mental, and you have your supernatural aspects to life. And in this book, I go through the pyramid itself, and I break it down because I forget, oh man, it's a Venn diagram. Yeah, Venn diagram for you guys that really goes through how living your life can help. Once you put some labels on things, once you've found some structure, once you've been able to put some, faces to names, it really does become a little more easier for life to be happy. And don't get it twisted now. Don't get it twisted now. Like, this pyramid of life isn't meant to be the same as everybody else's. Everybody's pyramid is going to be different. Sometimes your supernatural, that supernatural part takes up a lot of your time, a lot of your effort, a lot of your mind. And that's okay. Sometimes you guys got mental things, cool. Sometimes it's more physical. That is okay. The real balance you will find. And once you find it, you can tune it. You can start dialing things in for real, and maybe even find a way to that peace that we're all trying. Okay, so that's that next chapter. Next thing is, and you know what had to be here. Common sense isn't common. Okay, it just really isn't. Let me read this first paragraph for you guys. Have you ever been in a situation where you knew the answer, everyone couldn't see? The situation was so clear to you, and the answer was completely obvious, but no one else could understand. Don't worry, you're not crazy. You just have common sense and know how to use it. But make no mistake, common sense isn't common. In fact, the ability to analyze a set of variables and come up with a solution is so rare that companies have people find those that have this skill. You'd think going to school and learning basic education as well as developed critical social skills will prepare people for a better society. For example, 90% of human communication is nonverbal. Let me say that again. 90% of human communication has nothing to do with the words coming out of your mouth. Almost all of the communication done between humans has nothing to do with the words being spoken. Yet almost all of the effort people put into communication is through the words being used. Why? Simple, really. Common sense isn't common. Even scientists understand there is a bell curve to human competency. I come to the conclusion that the bottom 10% of humanity is wholly dependent on society keeping them alive. Useless is a strong word that fits, but it fits. The next 10%, or the 11 to 20%, isn't quite as helpless, but should be. They have enough sense to get by, but couldn't survive without help. Then there's the 70%, the next 70%. So 21 and above. These people make up most of society we know today. Think like NPCs, non-player characters. All of them perform a function and are necessary for civilization to function overall, but otherwise have no more sense than other humans. This last 10% is made up of people who truly understand not just how society works, but how the world fits into the universe. These are the dreamers, artists, adventure seekers, truth tellers who desperately wish humanity would just figure it out. Often, these are the frustrated people who are quiet at work, calm in a wild situation, and drop bombs on their enemies when they deserve it. Where do you fit in? This is common sense not being common. Okay? I love this chapter because if you're here, you kind of already know this. If you are listening to me, I'm hoping that you guys already kind of get it. And if you don't, I can't wait for you guys to read this book because I'm sure you have more common sense than you think. Next up is the hive mind. Yeah, this is a fun chapter. I'm not even going to go into it. Hive mind of humanity is something to behold, and I can't wait for you guys to really see it. Okay, and then one of our final challenges here, we have use the Force. As a Star Wars person, well, I'm really about all of that, but I want you guys to use the Force. Let me describe this challenge. This challenge is meant to explore the powers of sensation. You are meant to reach out to the other participant parties to find out if you can sense others and their energy. It's a little unorthodox, but should prove to be fun. Now, this one, I've done this. This one's a fun party trick. This one's a fun way of finding out if you got some extrasensory perception. Okay, but there is a footnote here. Do not, and I mean, do not try this challenge with people you do not trust. It won't work. If you don't trust them, there's a whole section, there's a whole book on this that I'm going to write. Trust matters. Okay, so don't do this challenge with people you don't trust. Have fun with it. And lastly, last chapter to kind of land everybody back into reality. Okay, embrace the suck. It really is that simple. Last chapter is entitled Embrace the Suck. Because you've done all this work now. You've got uncommon sense. You've gotten skills and knowledge. You've put it to the test. You're a different person now. Okay? You got to embrace that suck because not everybody's going to get it. Not everybody's going to want to be around it. Not everybody's going to want you to be better. Homeostasis is not fun, especially when you're trying to be better. Okay, let me read you this first paragraph. Power, respect, success, happiness, accomplishment. All the things in life that we strive for are within your grasp. You have come to know the world in a way only a determined few can. It's up to you to keep from falling back into the way things used to be. You're no longer distracted, docile, and dumb like the established powers want you to be. Now, it comes down to living in a world that isn't designed for uncommon sensed people. Yes, this world is not built, designed, structured for people who have sense in them to exist. It's unfortunate. We are going to change that here at the IRL Nation. We are going to make sure that all of the people who want it can find this freedom, can find a way to live life the best way they want to. How great would it be for you to wake up and live your passions, to find a way to explore a mountain or a cave that's never been explored before, to go and read books that have never really been read by human beings because you found a temple and you Indiana Jones all your way into and you found the Tomb Raider on the way. This is what I'm talking about. Humanity has this ability and this power, and it is those of us who have uncommon sense that will get to enjoy the most out of life. We can do it, guys. We have the power. And that's the breakdown of my book, Uncommon Sense, Exploring a Better Way of Humanity. It's coming soon, guys. It's in production. I already have a publisher. All it takes is me funding it, okay? So hopefully, as this channel grows, as this nation grows, I'll be able to just pump this thing in and we can get this thing done faster. I'm putting up a link soon for pre-orders because it's designated and it's supposed to come out what is it? Fall? No, not fall. The end of 2024. So winter of 2024. And I'm excited, guys. This has been a great recap for you. I'm really hoping you guys find some gems in this book. And hey, if it's a flop, it's a flop. I don't think it will be, but if it is, it is. I know there are people out there who just need support, who need something, someone, a network, a book to rely on, because we need each other. We need more people of like mind to come around and give us just a piece that we so desperately need to find a way to live our best lives, guys. I'm so happy that you guys are here with me. I'm so happy you guys are participating in the channel. Thank you so much. I wouldn't be anything without you guys in the IRL Nation. I really want you guys to know that you're not alone. There are people out here in your corner. I am in your corner. I see you struggling. I see you grinding. I see you in the darkness because I was there myself. You're not alone. We got this. Okay? All right, y'all. Thank you so much again. This is the IRL Nation, IRL Podcast. We'll catch you on the flip. See ya.